Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience as we got into this second game a little bit late. VP.Polar had a match run over, and they cut it pretty close. We've got a 15-minute window for DQ forfeit win, and they were here at about the 14 minutes, so they knew their limits, and they cut it close. I'm Zyori, joined once again by Blaze. We're going to go right into this draft. Blaze, buddy, I don't even have to ask. I know you're excited over there, jiggling in your seat. We got a little Magnus Medusa opener from VP.Polar.
Yeah, looking really strong here. They actually go for the first pick Magnus. They knew that the Medusa wasn't something the Team Tinker were probably looking for, and the Magnus is something that can guarantee a lot with. They get the Empower on the Medusa. They can amplify her damage, at least whatever agility items she picks up will be enhanced, and that's going to make it so much more potent for her to go for the split shot play. Of course, there's also great grouping mechanisms, but I was actually curious to see Team Tinker's response here. Team Tinker going for the IO Ogre, obviously EGM being one of the best Wisp players out there, so definitely a great pickup, but it shows to me that they kind of want to just look for pick-off play. They want to avoid the 5v5 because they know that's where Medusa and Magnus shine. So we'll see if they continue to kind of adapt to a strategy that looks for pick-offs, looks for individual play, rather than going as like a big 5-man death ball, because that seems to be a losing strategy here. They also do need to end the game a little early, so we'll see what cores they do pick up, but for now the supports are looking pretty strong.
Yeah, most definitely. We've seen so much Ogre play as of late, and I like it. I'm still a big fan of the Ogre, and he's just a fun support these days. Rolling the dice, and here's a fun one. We'll get a little bit of Timbersaw from Team Tinker. So one that got a little buff in this last patch, now has that Aghanim's upgrade for the double Chakram, gives him a little more of an ability to scale towards that late game once he has the mana pool to allow it. So I like this from Tinker. Probably their offlaner, and VP.Polar, they'll grab some more AoE teamfight presence as they third pick the Fairy Dragon.
Yeah, now I don't think I would be doing my due diligence if I didn't talk a little bit here about Illidan's Medusa play recently. Just came off of a game where he was playing the Medusa. Actually, he finished it off with a Flourish, MKB, and Divine Rapier there. A lot of damage coming out, but it's also his defensive play that you also have to look to see how he really plays this. Not only having a naturally tanky hero, but also playing it really, really well and reserved when he needs to, using the Stone Gaze appropriately, and also bringing about something that I haven't even seen in the longest of time, but he's actually been doing some really cool dodges with his Manta style. Last game yesterday versus Moscow 5, he not only dodged a Hoof Stomp, which allowed him to seal the deal on a number of kills, but he also actually dodged an Aghanim's OD ultimate, the thing that should drain 75% of his mana and is equivalent in that scenario to a 2,000 pure damage nuke, dodges it in the split second that the Manta style activation renders you invulnerable. Just absolutely insane, and this guy, he really knows how to just get the most out of this hero.
Yeah, definitely. And we've seen just how ridiculous she can be with even just a baseline of farm. She gets to that point where, sure, you can kill the Medusa, but it takes your entire arsenal, and then you've got all these other 4 heroes still running around ready to drop the hammer on your remaining survivors. So even just the Magnus Medusa, that duo it just makes you have to play so carefully. If you're ever grouped up, caught in a 2-3-man RP, you can pretty much assume that that Stone Gaze will be coming up and locking you in place. Now, we have seen some fun synergy with Medusa as well as the alongside the Legion Commander. Not so sure that'll work out here, unfortunately, but one of those fun little look-at-me type abilities and forcing you to stare into the stony eyes of the snaked madness. But they'll grab their last 2 supports to round things out. Vengeful Spirit will be the first one for VP.Polar, and Team Tinker, they're doing things a little different here, Blaze. They'll fourth pick a Lone Druid, a hero that we've seen not so much in this patch, though, as well. Got a little buff. Now that Spirit Bear rocking the mana pool.
Yeah, I find it pretty interesting here. It does allow them to go for a bit of base race play here. Essentially, if it comes down to a point where Medusa's too big to go toe-to-toe with and for a full fight, then the Lone Druid can just kind of jump in, do some quick siege with the bear, and then bounce back. The Demolish passive allows them to just absolutely tear through towers, and I actually could see a scenario where you could actually look to tether the Spirit Bear and give it overcharge. I haven't really seen it personally, but if you think about it,
10 seconds
Bloodlust already
remaining.
gives an attack speed boost of 50, which is 50% from the
5
baseline,
seconds remaining.
onto this Lone Druid Bear. But on top of that, adding in the overcharge, another 70
Dire team
increase,
pick.
that bear is just going to tear through the towers and racks in
Yeah.
maybe 4 or 5 seconds flat. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, the handful of lone druids I've seen over the past month or so in Starladder EU have all been kind of abysmal failures in terms of his ability just to farm quickly and actually have a strong presence in the game. But I have a little bit of hope here for Team Tinker. I'll be curious to see what item build they end up going for.
10
The
seconds
Hand of Midas
remaining.
now works properly. If you use it on the bear, the druid gets the experience.
5
So that's also
seconds
just
remaining.
a fun little change we saw in the last patch. Smart last band from Team Tinker. They'll take out the Sand King.
Reserve
Some more
time.
huge team fight presence that could synergize pretty well here. And VP.Polar ban out the Gyrocopter of all heroes. Team Tinker should be revealing who they'll pair with the Wisp, though. They've got a couple of heroes, the Lone Druid and the Timbersaw. Could be fine tether buddies, so they may not need one of those kind of classic combos, depending on how they want to set up these lanes.
Yeah, it's very interesting how they're going to be able to just do the most to set her up for success. It means like even if they went for a Centaur, which is generally a counter pick to the Medusa, then they won't really be able to stampede away or disengage on their terms. With the Timbersaw, they're probably not looking at that anyways, but
Radiant
just the
team
Dream
pick.
Coil, the RP, the ways to lock people in place, they really force you to face this just super turret. Like once she gets to a certain point, she's not only is she going to be almost immortal, but she's going to just be able to put out insane amounts of damage, and it has to be on their mind constantly. But I believe this is the answer right here. A potentially Wex Invoker could theoretically just burn through this Medusa, use Tornado to dispel things like the Empower,
10 seconds
and use the EMP to burn through that mana pool. Because if you don't have a mana burn mechanic, you don't
5
kill the
seconds
Medusa
remaining.
almost at all. Like, especially when we're talking 50, 60 minutes. There are exceptions, of course, but generally speaking, the mana shield is just too strong. So you get an OX Invoker, EMP, you get the Necronomicons out, and I think that should be enough to bring him down consistently.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. We've seen almost exclusively Exort Invokers following 6.82, but against the Dusa, the Wex makes a fair bit of sense. Also, like you mentioned, cleansing the Empower. Now, it will be a position 4 Beastmaster picked up by GoBlack here on the side of VP.Polar. He'll grab his Wild Axes level 1, and we've seen this a little bit more frequently also. Rocking that Chieftain headset. I like that, all those feathers coming out of his head. But the position 4 Beastmaster, I wasn't a believer in past patches, but I've seen it work pretty well, especially at ESL 1. We saw EG running this a fair bit to a pretty decent degree of success.
Yeah, and they actually did swap it out. It's going to be Lil running the Beastmaster this time around, and Godback will be picking up the Vengeful Spirit. But the aspect of them being support heroes is still 100% true. And whereas I'm not sure if he's going to actually move into the jungle at all and do the wolf, or sorry, not wolf, boar farming there with the piercing damage it provides, or if he's just going to be moving about, stacking, and doing a little bit of zoning. The important thing is when he gets his levels. Once you get levels
30
on
seconds
the
to
Inner
battle.
Beast aura, along with the Vengeance Aura, those are 2 more tools just to give Medusa the maximum potential that she can have. You get the increased base damage out of Vengeance Aura, stacks perfectly fine with Empower, and then you also get the increased attack speed from Inner Beast. It's all about the buffs here. The auras from VP.Polar and the Bloodlust and Overcharge from Team Tinker. They're going to be just absolutely enhancing as much as possible these carry heroes, and we'll see which one triumphs in the end.
Yeah,
The battle
absolutely so.
begins.
Let's introduce some rosters and positions here. Looks like initial runes will be EGM to grab the double damage on the Wisp. Medusa gets off an auto attack as he plays that Piccolo, scares him away, and Illidan will slither back into the jungle here. Ooh, the double damage hits him down, and well, EGM strikes right back. It will be Illidan on his now signature Medusa here farming the safe lane. Lil on the position 4 Beastmaster. GoBlack supporting away on the Vengeful Spirit. In the mid, that'll be Scandal taking point on the Magnus. And that leaves them with an off-lane DK Phobos playing on the puck with that $1 million Dream Coil set. Now, on the side of Team Tinker, it'll be EGM on the Wisp, harassing very aggressively here, actually. This double damager and doing some serious work as Illidan chunked down to about half health, forced to eat a tango, and EGM just completely zoning him out, making a lot of space for Sing Sing on this Timbersaw. The rest of VP.Polar coming in, and EGM will label that one a success, I think.
Yeah, I mean the double damage is hard to see at first on him. Obviously, as soon as you start taking the damage, you're going to click him and see the buff exclusively. But particle effects make those runes difficult to see, and EGM gets a nice little bit of early momentum against that lane, giving some space for Sing Sing. But in the end, I still think that the Beastmaster is going to be able to stack and pull to his heart's content. The Godblock is going to be enough to zone Sing Sing in the early stages, at least until he gets a couple of points in that Timber Chain and potentially reactive armor. But yeah, the other lanes are going to be pretty interesting here. Podcat is going Exhort. So in this case here, the idea that I had, which was obviously like mana burn based and maybe getting double bashers on the lone druid, one on the spirit bear, one on the druid himself, is not really going to come into play here. They might still go one or the other, but at least to start, it is going to be Podcat going for Exhort and prioritizing that global presence with the Sunstrike.
Yeah, the Sunstrike on top of the relocate. Some pretty serious potential there. It is Bulba on the Ogre Magi moving around, and that puts Koikva on the Lone Druid, who is going mid against Scandal and doing pretty well. Both of them just farming up to their heart's content. Not too much solo kill potential, but Lone Druid, he snags himself a bounty rune on the bear, and Io will pick up the haste rune up top. DK Phobos may find himself in some trouble, will jaunt to the orb as he gets stunned by Bulba. EGM tethers to his buddy, thinking about a tower dive, but Puck will make it back, and no first blood will come out, at least not yet, here in the top lane. So, obviously you were theory crafting towards a Quas Wex Invoker for the mana burn, but now Team Tinker, how do you deal with this Medusa, given that they have absolutely no mana drain abilities? I guess this means Necrobook will come out for the Invoker, so that's one piece, but I guess simply put, is that enough, Blaze?
Yeah, I mean, the alternative is that you look to just not fight her in the late game. You look to push before she really gets too big. The Forged Spirits will allow you to take down towers pretty quickly. I already mentioned the strength of the Lone Druid in that regard, so I think that, I mean, Necrobook is still going to be core because of the fact that you're looking to push early, but I don't even think you look to take down the Medusa unless she's extremely overextended. You avoid taking fights against her, avoid those big draw. Okay, actually, Lil taking a lot of damage from Sing Sing there with the help of a Centaur neutral, but yeah, I don't know. In this position, if you get Dream Coiled, you're going to be forced into a position to fight. So in the end, I figure you have to still go for either a couple of bashers on Koikwa, or you do still go for kind of a mass Necro strat, because I like the idea of trying to rat it, trying to push it, and trying to avoid the fights with the Medusa, but in the end, you're going to have to take a couple fights against her, and without EMP, without the Wex disarm factor from Deafening Blast, I don't know. It seems to be a tall order for them.
Yeah, certainly agreed. But we'll have to see how it plays out as the laning phase off to a pretty slow start. Both sides feeling pretty passive. Invoker farming very well in the top lane, as is Illidan on the Medusa here in the bottom lane. So the safe lane farmers doing well. Off laners fairly even. Phobos a little bit behind that of Sing Sing. He's had a little more luck moving around in the jungle and leeching experience. He's found his level 4. Phobos still on 3, but all things considered, it is rather even. Bounty rune picked up by the Beastmaster this time, but EGM once more finds another rune, and he's been all over these runes. A double damage, a haste, and now an illusion. Wisp has been all over the place as he rendezvous with Bulba. They'll smoke up, and the Tether buddies looking to make a rotation. Bulba is level 3, which means a second point in Fire Blast, and this Ogre is hungry for some blood.
Yeah, definitely needs to get some kills going. I mean, the whole point of picking up an Ogre is to make things happen in the early to mid game. His only late game contribution, other than a stun, is the Bloodlust. And yeah, he's looking to use that magical nuke damage. He's just going to be going with 2 points of Fire Blast, 1 in Ignite, but it should be enough to get a kill here.
Yeah, there's the Sunstrike coming out from the Invoker. They'll go right onto Lil. The Boar comes out, almost a neutral deny, but not quite. First Blood's drawn by Bulba as now they're going on to Go Black. EGM will get finished off by the neutrals. Go Black in some trouble as Sing Sing has joined the party. There's your stun from Bulba and Timber Chain to finish him off. The Snake from Illidan comes in, harasses back Bulba, and maybe Scandal can come in for a recovery kill. Yes, he can. It's Medusa that secures the last hit, and it's a 2-for-2 trade in the skirmish, but Wisp was denied, and Team Tinker got the first blood. So they do come out quite ahead in that exchange with about a 500 net worth advantage when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty incredible. The Sunstrike damage was dissipated a little bit, 50% with the Call of the Wild usage there, and that did keep them alive a little bit longer. They got some turn damage, and with a great rotation from Scandal, they were able to clean it up a little bit better. Even with the Wisp denial, like, it's still... You need to get that Scandal rotation if you're going to get anything positive out of it. But at least for now, they get something. And Beastmaster is going to be going for that second point and call. So, yeah, he's got the Boar, he's got the Hawk. He's able to do a little bit more here as far as scouting, as far as disabling his opponents, and it might allow them to relent on the pressure of Team Tinker, but they're still looking to dive.
Yep. It's now turned into an aggro try for Team Tinkers. They want to pressure Illidan. He's on brown boots and Aquila. Still a lot of last hits under his belt. Invoker should be able to handle his own against Puck just fine. We'll give DK Phobos a little bit of room to find some additional farm, but this will help secure some farm for Sing Sing, who's soon to be level 6, and looks like Bulba and EGM will just continue to roam around. He's found his tether buddy for now. Boots picked up on McGee, so Bulba can move around a little more effectively and perhaps find some more kill opportunities. Koikva in the mid, what's he going for? Phase Boots on the Bear so far to go with his Orb of Venom. Nothing on the Druid himself. Scandal has found his level 6, RP at the ready, as there will be a rotation from the Wisp towards the mid, and down bottom, Bulba will just kind of move around. So these dire supports really just moving around the map and looking for opportunities to kill. So far, it's been fairly successful for him.
Yeah, in this position here, like, I think that should be a 1 minus maximum for Team Tinker. They still, with the fact that they're going for Exort, are looking to end this game sooner rather than later. So going for like 2 minuses on Lone Druid, as fun as it sounds, is probably not the best way to go about progress in this game. Podcat's getting some nice levels and gold, though, from this minus that he got at an extremely fast time. He's actually topping net worth right now at 3,400, and he's also near the top of the levels despite having some support on the top lane. So yeah, he is looking really good for himself, and I would not be surprised to see the Necro 3 be his next choice after the Tier 2 boots.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it's good in this game, but it's also just pretty standard on the Exort Invoker, so probably a safe bet no matter how you reason it. Sing Sing will find his Arcane Boots now that he's been able to pick up quite a few last hits in the offlane, sitting 22 and 5, and now has that Chakram ready to harass. DK Phobos, in a similar scenario, has found recovery farm since the supports left, has his level 6 also, which means Dream Coil is online and could be ready to fight. Down in the bottom lane is where the action will break out, as it's a 4-hero rotation. Well, 3 heroes rotating to join the Medusa. They'll try to jump on Sing Sing. He's got 3 points in the Timber Chain, so rather elusive. They'll have to stun him if they want to lock him down. Scandal will start things off. Single RP. There's your magic missile, and okay, more than enough crowd controls to lock down the Timbersaw, and Sing Sing will take an unfortunate death, though. Took a lot of force from VP.Polar.
Yeah, we're just going to see the Dream Coil on mid here. Koikwa is the target of choice, but do they have enough damage to bring him down? Koikwa is in his ultimate form, so it is a tall order, and Phobos actually goes down to the Sunstrike. The combo of Fire Blast and the Sunstrike, and he doesn't get the phase shift off, so yeah, he's going to be going down. They just bit off more than they can chew, trying to bring down Koikwa, who just pops a salve, brings himself down to the lesser HP form, and the Tranquil Boots will top himself off.
Yeah, absolutely. Phobos using that orb aggressively. That's always that time when Puck kind of gets a target on his back, and a team that's pretty savvy will say, hey, that Puck's got no out. Let's jump on him now, and that's exactly what they did, maybe underestimating the rotative power of Team Tinker, and ends up being a successful counter kill on their side. And again, more space created for Pycat. That was time when 4 heroes were bottom, Puck rotated mid, and the Invoker was just soaking up the farm in the top lane. Now has the Staff of Wizardry and the Belt of Strength, so just a recipe away from the Necronomicon. And if this keeps up, Pycat's going to have a Necro 3 pretty damn fast. This game plays like maybe a 15-minute level 3 Necronomicon is something to be wary of.
Yeah, and it's not just the mana burn aspect that we've been talking about that'll really hurt the Dusa, but it'll be another aura for this Lone Druid. You get the ranged Necronomicon to provide this increased attack speed and movement speed aura. This Lone Druid Bear is going to have near max attack speed just with 2 attack speed items. He gets like an AC up, and everything else is just going to be buffs, and it's just going to be insane how much he gets entangles, potentially bashes, and how quickly he destroys towers. And on top of that, you could actually consider, since he's not relying on attack speed, you could actually consider building up an item that used to not even be effective on him, and that's a Desolator. Used to be Entangling Claws. It counted as a modifier. You didn't want to get the Stygian Desolator, but
EGM, sorry Blaze, kill up top. Wisp will get caught out, and Scandal, he finds a pick-me-up there as they battle for the rune. Wisp does grab the bounty rune before he goes down, but it will indeed cost him his life.
Yeah, but do they have the counter push to stop this top lane siege is the question here. We're going to see the orb come out and try to break down the creep wave, but still these Fort Spirits, they're a little bit too much for him to handle. Pycat already having so many levels, getting the Bloodlust from Bulba. They take down the tier 1, and it's just going to fuel his momentum. This Necro is going to be so damn fast, and Yeah, this, like I said, the bear can not even have to build too much into attack speed. One or two items there, and he actually might consider just right-click items. Like, I won't need MKB for a while. Eventually, you'll need it against Butterfly, but for now, you could just look at something like a Desolator. In fact, he's going Mask of Madness. Screw armor destruction. He's going for the raw attack speed and a little bit of lifesteal on top. Very fun to see.
Wow, yeah, that's fun indeed. You don't see that too often on the bear, but now that he has the mana, you can actually use the Mask of Madness. It's a small mana cost, but a mana cost at that. And even this Tier 1 tower mid taking a lot of damage. Of course, they'll have a glyph up as the Tier 1 top just recently fell, but the bear and this siege creep doing a lot of damage. They'll glyph it, but okay, bear gets pulled back, resets the tower aggro. We'll just go right back in, and Venge trying to get the last hit and will deny it with a stun on the bear. Nicely played by Go Black. Still, that's a Tier 1 tower mid down, and even though the gold is mitigated, you still lose that valuable map control very early on.
I think this Mask of Madness is a tell that Team Tinker intend to end the game before the 40-minute mark. Like, you don't go Mask of Madness with all this attack speed that you already have, unless you look to get maxed out really early and you just want to go for the kill. You go for the jugular, you go for the towers. But we'll see. For right now, you can use it to farm faster with the bear, increase attack speed, get a few more entangle procs here and there. But when it comes down to using it on the towers, that's going to be the big deal. Oh, close call on Lil. He actually dodges a Sunstrike narrowly, but I don't think he saw the crater, so he's still looking to juke and jive and wait to see it. But I'm curious how patient he'll be.
Yep, up top Phobos. Well, quelling the push for now as Pycat does have his first recipe of Necro Book complete in the bank at home. Dreamcoil comes out onto Pycat, will use a Ghost Walk, and he'll be just fine. Scandal rotates in. They've got no detection, no way to lock down the Pycat, and that'll be the end of it. EGM still not level 6, so no relocates available yet, but him and Bulba still tether buddies, about dead even experience halfway through 5. I do like that Bulba picked up that value point in Bloodlust. We saw it on the Invoker up top already, and most Ogres will go for a second point in Ignite, at least from what I've seen, and that value point does make a difference early on.
Most definitely. You can use on siege creeps to help their damage against towers when you're just going for like a 2-hero push. In this case, he wants to use it on the Spirit Bear as much as possible. They really are gunning for a max attack speed bear as quickly as can be. You get the max Bloodlust, the max Overcharge, you pick up whatever he's was building right now with the Close of Haste, you activate the Mask of Madness, and he is essentially at max attack speed. And I've said it too many times already, but he's going to be able to benefit a lot from it. It's a very scalable stat for.
Wait, I'm sorry, Blaze. How much attack speed? Is that going to be a max attack speed build?
I haven't done the math on it just yet, but it's going to be very, very close. I think it'll be probably like 400 IS there. So
I'm just yanking your chain, man. It's all good. It's an interesting build, and I see why you're a little excited about it. I'm curious to see how it ends up working out, especially once these supports finally come online for Team Tinker, and we see a few more points put into that Ogre Bloodlust. They may consider a relatively early Roche also. With all these summons, the Forge Spirits, and the Bear, they can definitely take down Roche sooner rather than later. Maybe if they find a pickoff, get an RP wasted from Scandal, that'll be their window of opportunity. You can see VP.Polar, they're thinking the same thing as they scout it out, want to make sure they don't hand over an uncontested Roche early on, especially with all of these big team fight abilities off cooldown. But not quite what Team Tinker has in mind yet.
So we'll just kind of see the spread of the map. It's going to be the first big uses of the ultimates from VP.Polar that tries to put them back in a controlling position in this game. Right now, they're very unwary about how the mid game is going to present itself, and they want to be in control. They have heroes that can certainly accomplish that feat, so they're going to make their rotations. Dusa has a TP, but probably will just keep farming down bottom, and it's going to be a 4 distract from 1 play up on the top lane. They're smoking up, looking for the kill on Pycat, and a big kill it would be.
Yes, sir, but he'll already back up. Great map sense from Pycat. They're smoked, but just realizing there's a lot of heroes missing off the map, there could be a rotation coming his way as he is solo all the way on the other side of the map from the rest of his team. He is probably the most likely target for a gank, and he will survive. So good rotation there, and VP.Polar will end up wasting a little bit of their time with that unsuccessful smoke.
In the meantime, we do see EGM already just piggybacking behind the bear, trying to just increase Koiko's farm. They really are putting a lot on his shoulders because they're giving him so much, but they also respect Koikova's potential a lot, especially like ever since TI4, he's really found confidence in himself. It was a recent interview with Bulba that he definitely feels like Koikova is on another level above his team in terms of mechanical skill, and they want to get the most out of that. So they're putting him in a position where everything's on him, and we'll see what that turns out.
Yep. Koikva caught inside of the Dream Coil from Phobos, but the Fairy Dragon's a little isolated here. Sunstrike will fly through. Phase Shift won't come out. Can't jaunt to the orb, and it'll be a dead puck to get things started. Team Tinker now with a 5v4 on the field. Maybe okay with taking a fight. Roar comes out onto EGM. A solo RP onto the Wisp. That'll be more than enough to bring him down. Stone Gaze from the Dusa. Everyone's looking the opposite way. No one will get petrified. It's a 1 for 2 to get things started. Sing Sing will Timber Chain away as a Shockwave brings him down low, but Team Tinker looking good at the beginning of this exchange and will back out to safety.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not the most impactful first use of this combo of ultimates. The Dream Coil, the RP, the Stone Gaze, all used, and yeah, the Wisp goes down, but he wasn't even level 6 at the time. It's not the most valuable kill. They really were angling to kill the medic so that they could bring down some bigger targets, but if you look at Team Tinker's lineup, most of them are pretty tanky. The Invoker is relatively squished, but with the Necronomicon buildup, he gets some good strength, and the others, I mean, they are very, very beefy. We've got the Battlecry armor bonus on Lone Druid, who already gets a lot of HP from his true form, the Timbersaw, naturally a tank and an escapee hero, and then the Ogre Magi, buffed time and time again. He is probably the tankiest support you can get.
Yeah, certainly so. So I guess the Wisp is the likely target, but still not the high value one by any means. EGM will at least have his level 6 now following that experience from the puck, and will tether up with Koikva. Still just a single value point in the Bloodlust, but now Bulba has his level 7 and has the maxed out Fire Blast for some maximum damage. There's your Maelstrom up on the bear, so benefiting from that attack speed even more as they move into the bottom tier 1 tower. Forge Spirits have been deployed. Glyph will come out. VP.Polar thinking about making a hold here, but they don't have an RP. It'll be up in about 25 seconds. Certainly not soon enough to deal with this tower defense, and Koikva will secure another tower kill. Dusa close to a Lincoln Sphere, about 500 gold away from the recipe. Throws out a snake onto EGM there. But Team Tinker looks like they don't want to stop. They're ready to continue pressing forward, and we'll look at this tier 2 tower and maybe try to find a team fight if they can find the right angle to initiate.
Yeah, they've got the Necro 3. The RP is cooling down, though. Yeah, there's a lot of team fight potential for VP.Polar, but this bear gets 4 seconds on the tower, and it's going to be half gone. So they're just trying to get the maximum value out of that for right now. Koikva rotates to the mid lane, and they are going to be looking to just demolish that. They do have a pretty good shot at Roshan if they know exactly where VP.Polar are. They're not the most mobile of lineups. When you look at it, especially the Medusa is very slow on her feet at 340 MS, and yeah, they aren't really looking to chase and run people down just yet. They're farming in their own territory. They're just looking to take a fight on the defensive, and that means Team Tinker can spread the map. They can take objectives like the Ancients, maybe look at Roche, and if they see an opportunity, the relocate's always there.
Yeah, they've been very active about utilizing their Ancients quite a bit, and VP.Polar are kind of the opposite. They don't have a great Ancient clearing lineup outside of the Wild Axes, and Lil's had plenty of other things to keep him focused. It's been that stack of granite golems sitting there for most of this game as Team Tinker come to the defense of their bottom tier 1. VP.Polar, considering their options here, I think they're really more trying to bait out a fight and find a good initiation than really commit hard to this tower, as they just chip away at it and will start to retreat, as Team Tinker are now the ones looking to be on the aggressive. Lincoln Sphere completed for Illidan, has that first core item and starting to come online a little bit. See the Empower buff already placed upon him, but here we go. Tinker moving into the Roche Pit. 2x Bloodlust onto the bear, Alacrity, and just look at this bear. He's just chunking down Roshan.
Yeah, insane damage output, very, very quick, and yeah, this is going to be very difficult to deal with. I think the bear could actually go for an Abyssal next, and maybe Milner will be finished first, but long-term AC and Abyssal are 2 great items to pick up here, and they just have all the buffs in the world to make it happen. Right now it's a low Wex, so it's not attack speed that the bear is really getting from Alacrity, but the right-click damage really helps in sync with the Mask of Madness, Bloodlust, etc. So Blink Dagger coming out for Invoker now that he has his Necro 3 up, and yeah, he can just keep on moving about the map, maybe look for a cool meatball play.
Yeah, definitely. Still very squishy, sitting on brown boots and no real stats items outside of the bit of strength from the Necro book and the Iron Branches, but that's all he needs, 1,300 hit points, and he's feeling all right. So Team Tinker now grouped up. It's only 5-5, but this Dire side have so much more momentum. They've knocked down a whole bunch of towers, 3-0 on that front. They've gotten Roche, and simply put, they've just been a little more efficient around the map. They'll scout out Illidan in the jungle. The bear starting to chase him down, but Medusa will be able to slither to safety before she gets initiated on. Sort of the same thing where both teams looking for that proper angle to take a team fight and both being very cautious not to be overzealous. Go Black goes in on the Sing Sing, but off to the side, RP on 4! Scandal with a huge amount of damage coming out, but the follow-up just isn't there. There's Dusa with the Stone Gaze off to the side. They've already lost their Timber Saw, but Sing will be coming up pretty soon. Invoker goes down next. Can Scandal and Illidan make it out like bandits? And it looks okay. Swap from the low ground. Go Black will play the Sacrificial Lamb, but it keeps Illidan alive. Gets a little bit of extra mana there with the wand charges, and he'll be A-okay. Ends up as a 2-for-1 trade, and Team Tinker on the back end of it.
Yeah, that RP was absolutely insane. Like, if the Dusa was there a little bit sooner, that would have been just a complete team wipe. But as we mentioned, that's still a very slow hero at 340 MS, and she's also only level 12, so she's only got 1 point in split shot. I mean, she's hitting 2 targets for the 80% damage, and it's not nearly as devastating as it could be, though it was a very nice play. But we're still seeing the bear just chew on this tower. They do force stab it to break the tether. Actually, cool little play there. That was the Magnus to do that, so Scandal minimizing some of the damage, but the bear will still go in for the last right click. EGM dies down to the AoE damage, and they get the bear as well.
Yeah, so huge gold pick me up there. The bear worth 300, just about a hero kill's worth of gold. They will smoke up as they commence the chase. They're thinking about trying to burn this Aegis onto Koikva, but this is one of the fundamental problems of Virtus.Pro.Polar. Their lineup is very cooldown based. So Team Tinker, following that team fight, recognizing that, of course, push right into the Tier 2 tower, and even though they lose their Wisp after that cute little tether play with the Force Staff, they still can't defend the Tier 2 tower, even with a glyph to use to buy themselves some time. So this is going to be kind of the name of the game for Team Tinker. Just try to mitigate their losses when the cooldowns are used, and once the RP, the Dream Coil, the Stone Gaze are all on cooldown, that's when they can push and just cripple these structures. Still Virtus.Pro.Polar with a response, holding on to a 7,500 gold deficit, but it's only a 2,000 experience lead for Team Tinker. Sing Sing with that Bloodstone down to 5 charges, as the first thing he did after picking it up was take a tumble in that team fight.
I will run them.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's not the hero that you want to be initiated on. He also doesn't have that many points in his passive right now to tank through all the right-click damage. There's a lot of physical damage flying about with this kind of aura cleave that we're talking about, and the Wave of Terror does take away most of what the reactive armor gives. Still, we're going to be seeing Illidan kind of go for a solo push play up top, and while he's pretty safe in doing so because of the Linked Sphere, he's going to get a lot of farm. It still gives Team Tinker the opening to make their move on the other side of the map. They want to take down this Tier 2 tower that they started damaging a little bit earlier, or at least we're in a position to do so. And they should be able to collaborate and take that down in just a handful of seconds, really.
Yeah, and Glyph is used to try to defend the top Tier 1 tower, or maybe just delay the push is a better way to put it. Tower still goes down. Meanwhile, Tinker are grouped up in the bottom. Full 4-hero rotation down bottom. All 5 of the Radiant up top. So Sing Sing the only one not joining him for now.
Are you looking at this bear? Like, it's absolutely insane what they're able to accomplish with this. This is still 3 points in Bloodlust, 2 points in Overcharge, but when this AC is finished and those skills are maxed out, we're already looking at a bear with plus 340 attack speed. And that's not even counting higher points in Alacrity, the Necro Aura that'll sometimes be in play. Like, that's a constant factor. But we're going to see even more. This bear is going to be maxed out very soon. And yeah, this is going to be VP.Polar to look to defend their high ground within the next Roche cycle, I would say.
Yep. So Bloodlust is level 3, still just the single value point in Wex right now, but rest assured Pycat will start leveling that up, and one of the reasons Invoker makes use of that Hand of Midas better than most heroes, and Team Tinker have not even come close to their peak yet, and already just trucking structures. That's the scariest part here, where Virtus.Pro.Polar, sure, they've got a lot of team fight presence, they can take some good team fights, but Team Tinker can afford to lose a team fight, then just come back, and if Virtus.Pro.Polar aren't prepared for it, they can just destroy structures so quickly. Even just a relocate on the lone druid for a little bit of rat Dota, it's really scary to think about how fast their base could potentially melt if they're caught just the least bit off guard.
And that's it. They just can't lose a single fight. They have the potential to win every fight from this point forward, but if they lose just one, that could be at least a single lane of racks, if not 2. Like, Team Tinker can just punish them so heavily with one success, and it just takes one pickoff to get that ball rolling. So we'll still look for the relocate. I don't think we've seen really anything come of that very impactfully, but EGM's just looking to keep building the buff ups. He's actually going to buy the Vladimir's Offering as he makes a move against Scandal here on the top lane.
Yeah, he'll skewer into the tree line. Does have a TP scroll, 4 stabs to make some space for himself. No way to interrupt it. And he will be able to TP to safety. Looks like Sing Sing will be moving into an Aghanim Scepter, so looking for that double Chakram. now that he has his Bloodstone complete, so we'll help him beef up a little bit more, and of course that damage output will be increased. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, smoke rotation from Koikva and Bulba. They'll rendezvous with their buddies down here, and they're ready for a team fight. Phobos will be the one that's initiated on relocate from the Wisp. He's all by himself, but he's relocated nonetheless. Entangling Claws come out onto the Beastmaster, and nothing that Lil can do. He just gets completely juiced, uses the Roar, but to little avail.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult. If VP.Polar don't start just shaping up 100%, making sure they don't make any mistakes outside their base, then they're going to be losing this. Like, they have so much potential late game in this Medusa. Illidan's about to pick up the Manta style, which is great against a lone Druid, but it feels slow, just in the tempo of the game. The 26-minute mark, it's still really good for Medusa, but the fact that they're being suppressed and controlled across the map, Illidan is coming up kind of empty-handed there, and Team Tinker, the next relocate, they could be picking off her instead. So we'll see. Right now, Koika is posturing at her Ancients. They do have Observer Ward vision on this, but I don't think they can get to it in time.
Yeah, and you look at how fast the Bear's killing the Golems here. The big one's down, and he'll take out his little baby friends there in just a matter of seconds. The full Assault Kuros has been completed on the Bear, so he's getting that huge amount of attack speed by himself. Forget about the Bloodlust and everything else they can add to him. Scandal does have a Sange up now on the Magnus, so he's getting some more items. Lil going for an Aghanim Scepter, still about 1,800 gold away from it, but farm continuing on. You mentioned the Manta on Illidan, now another 800 gold to boot. And last but not least, Phobos, he's picked up his Blink Dagger, has a Void Stone, probably looking for a Yule's. And, yeah, they're starting to get some of these core items, but it just doesn't really stop the scariness of Team Tinker. Relocate down bottom. Yeah, it's just a solo EGM and no way to stop Scandal from TPing home. He'll take a fair bit of damage from the Wisp of Balls and the negative Urn charge, but will ultimately survive as he TPs back to the well.
Yeah, good moves from him, and EGM just wasting the relocate, unfortunately. But at the end, it wasn't a big commitment. They are not relying on relocates here. This isn't a tiny Wisp strat where every relocate counts. This is just an extra perk, a little bit of mobility, the thing that Dusa lacks. She's the siege tank here. They're the ones that can just speedling around. So we'll see for right now. This Bear coming to almost critical mass. Right now, 340 increased attack speed when he is overcharged. And the maximum is 400 increased attack speed. So getting very, very close to that maximum potential. Alacrity and Necronomicon should actually tip him to that critical point. So we'll see eventually if he wants to trade out his Mask of Madness for something a little more durable, or if he wants to go for like the Abyssal Blade to go for that full control.
Well, Quickfoot will TP up top as the Dire use their glyph to secure their Tier 2 tower. And while we're talking about that, Sing Sing did complete his Aghanim. So now the double Chakram is out. 1,300 mana pool for Sing. So should be able to sustain it at least for a little bit in these skirmishes. EGM, he's just kind of hanging out here in the mid lane. And well, looks like they were thinking about moving in on him. Scandal considering his options, but they may have just thought it was bait, honestly. Not too often a Wisp is just that far forward by himself. It's
hard to tell, but he was actually invisible. He was just clearing out with an Invisor in there. So I think they were pinging out that he was there just for some more intel, but they don't have any detection, so there was no way to go.
Those damn particles, man. You can't even tell when he's got runes on. It's tricky. You gotta look for the buffs. All right, it's my bad. That one's on me. Damn particles playing with my eyes. Long Roche respawn coming up. You see Bulba scouting it out, but just about the maximum timer. So Team Tinker will have to be a little more patient, about a minute and a half until she comes back up. And I don't see any reason why they can't just secure another Roche. They can take it down so damn fast.
Yeah, and I think
go ahead.
I think that really favors VP.Polar. The slow respawn, Team Tinker would be looking to go with this Aegis, but at least right now Team Tinker don't look to break the base because of the fact that they don't have Aegis. Because while all these items are great on Koikva, or the Spirit Bear, Koikva effective HP is limited. They can still go on him, they can still kill him, and that doesn't matter that he has a second resummon on the Bear. The lone Druid's down for the count, so that's the big deal. If they get the Aegis, that's a completely different story. So they're very Roche reliant to make their final push in. It should be pretty well in sync with them finishing up the Abyssal Blade, though, and that will be just another nice thing they can do with that 300 base mana pool for the Spirit Bear.
Yeah, most definitely. Now Roche up in less than a minute, and they'll look to move into the pit. Also, EGM is gone for the Vladimir's offering, so even more auras added to the mix. Just a little bit of extra buff for the team, and of course, that Bear are going to reap the benefits also. And here's the big one. Sight the Vice now completed on Pycat, who has found his level 16, now starting to add additional points into Wex. So the big thing there is the attack speed from Alacrity. starting to add up. The Druid is not that close to the Relic, but still farming away. Will push out this bottom lane, and now they scout out the Rosh, and will start to make the rotation. Radiant do have a ward on the high ground here. We're looking at Radiant Vision right now, so they see that Team Tinker are moving into the pit, the 2x Bloodlust onto the Bear. Even though they have vision of this, they're not going to be able to get here in time to do anything about it. Just look how fast Rosh goes down, Blaze. Just look at it.
Yeah, he's not having a good time. The second he spawns, he just gets absolutely destroyed. I mean, you feel cool as a big boss man holding an Aegis. You're a mythical creature, whatever, but then this bear comes out of nowhere, and he's just roided up all the hell. You don't know what to do in that situation, not even Rosh. So, yeah, they claim the Aegis once more, but they didn't give it to Koikwa. They actually gave it to Pika here. What do you think?
Well, the Invoker is kind of their huge magic damage dealer right now. Sure, you've got that bear in the front lines doing all the right clicks, but Podcat has potential to do some pretty devastating damage with like a Meteor Deafening Blast combo. So he's also one of the squishier heroes. He has the crowd controls and the Necro book, so I think they just see him as a more likely target, whereas the bear is so big that they may try to just crowd control it, kind of ignore it, and jump on the Invoker to start off the fight. So I would venture to guess that's the thought process, but yeah, we'll see how it ends up working out. So far, the Invoker hasn't had too much pressure coming his way. He's only died once. But I guess a lot of that's been because he's been by himself farming while the rest of his team's been pushing towers.
I think the best line of thought behind it is that the Invoker is more likely to be caught inside the Medusa's range of attack, and he's going to have to be more involved. Whereas the Lone Druid can actually stay 1,100 units away and still get that bear right-clicking away. So Koikwa can kind of stay back, and as long as they don't go for like an all-in, kill the Druid, then they might be able to still not regret the fact that that Aegis has shifted hands.
Yeah. Well, now they'll group up. Only one outer tower remaining for VP.Polar. They've got a glyph, but why bother using it? It's just going to delay the inevitable, and you're going to need to save it for your high ground. As Team Tinker, they're pressing forward. Scandal blinks out of the base, thinking about a skewer RP, but won't go for it, and EGM will survive. Last team fight, they did use a solo RP on the Wisp, and they don't want to do that again. Now full Mjolnir picked up on the Bear, as if he didn't have enough attack speed already. Oh my gosh, this is getting ridiculous here. Over 300 attack speed without the buffs, and that's without Alacrity here. Now they'll go in. Scandal, he'll skewer back just the Bear. They're going to try to focus it down. The Bear will get dropped to get things started. Now Phobo's coming in with the silence or back to safety. The glyph comes out. There is a resummon. The Bear's back, but he's not so big. They've got to rebuff him up, and there's your Bloodlust. Now Team Tinker may think twice, as that Bear went down pretty damn quick.
Yeah, and now we have to consider the ramifications of the fact that Bulba has the mechanism instead of EGM. If they don't time the tether mech heal on this bear the next time around perfectly, then they could be completely without a team fight for the next 90 seconds of the respawn time for the Summon Spirit Bear. It's going to be a long one, and it's giving them pause to just not even go. They do not want to go with only one bear summon. They want to go with two, and that's a couple of minutes off the Aegis right there. They already kind of wasted the first minute just getting in position to take the tier 3 tower, and now they have to wait 2 more.
I think what it may be is also that glyph rotation. The glyph will be on cooldown still when the next bear is up, so that's probably that window they're waiting for. If you know, when you have a double bear and no glyph, you can basically just zerg the barracks, and maybe they can do that again, bring down the first bear, but then knowing that there's no glyph to stall the push, that's going to be a lane of barracks. So that's what I would reckon is kind of the thought process here is. May also be trying to wait for the Abyssal. Interesting that he upgraded to the Mjolnir before going straight for the Abyssal. I would have thought that they would have valued just that extra little bit of lockdown.
Well, when you're talking at max attack speed, you are going to benefit a lot from the increased lightning damage there. It's a small buff between the Maelstrom and the Mjolnir as far as the lightning procs themselves, but it still is an increase. As well, the static charge's really good. But I think actually he probably needs to look towards a BKB before the Abyssal now, because we see what the Skewer can do to completely disrupt what Team Tinker are all about.
Is Illidan going Rapier? He's got a Relic and 2,700 gold.
Okay, so it's going to be harder without the Radiant Courier, as Pycat does pick that up. They have this great Observer Ward kind of guarding the Secret Shop right now, but there is a real possibility of Divine Rapier here. Last game that I was watching, they were in the Synergy League versus X game. He went Casual Sacred Relic, then MKB, and then the Divine Rapier when they really needed it. So we'll see when he goes for the Rapier. It's not really an if, it's a when, and we'll see. But right now, the roar down bottom.
Yeah, EGM will get caught out. Dreamcoil to set it it up. That'll finish off the Wisp. Will almost goes down. The Bear doing so much damage here. Buyback from the Wisp will relocate in, and this is just Rat Dota to the max. They will be able to bring down this Bear, but hey, in the top lane, you've lost your tier 3 tower. Pycat's got plenty of pushing power himself. They'll try to rotate over. They've still got some big ultimates available, but Scandal, he gets hexed, he gets multicasted, and he'll get brought down. They're just getting picked apart as VP.Polar just don't have the resources to deal with the split push. Top lane of Barracks will go down, and Quake, but he's just waiting out the bottom lane, waiting for this Dusa to back up so he can send the Bear in. And look at this, he's just chunking the tower. Dusa may get a kill on the second Bear. One more hit would have brought him down, but the Bear lives. Now he'll go back to auto-attacking the creeps. Meanwhile, in the mid, Team Tinker just going hard. Oh, the courier dies. They buy a new one, but it's got the... Oh, my gosh.
Demon Edge. That's the Demon Edge courier. That would have been the rapier Illidan needs to defend this high ground, but it doesn't happen. I can't even find it because it's not. It's a secondary courier. But
yeah, I don't. There's no hotkey for that, but it's down. That's oh my gosh, that's so bad. That is the game-winning ward right there to give him that vision. Now the bottom lane of Rax gets completely cleaned up. Illidan locked in place. The Bear going hard. He's out of mana. He's stuck inside of the ice wall. Go Black with the swap to keep him alive. He will play Sacrificial Lamb. Keeps his carry standing, but it's 2 lanes of Barracks down, and this is the ward right here, Blaze. This is the ward that's made it happen. And now Team Tinker just goes straight for the mid, and the Bear on roids, chunking it down. There's no glyph available in VP.Polar.
Look at that!
Probably about to tap out. Yeah, Phobos comes in. Coil will secure the kill onto the Lone Druid. Now the RP on 2. Sing and EGM will get left behind. VP.Polar repel with 1 Barracks still standing. How long until this courier comes up? It's still going to be another 2 minutes. They'll lose their puck off to the side as Pycat brings him down. I don't know if the rapier is even going to be enough here, Blaze.
If the Bear ever gets anywhere near the Rax, it's gone completely. Like, I think they can even do it through backdoor protection. That's a ranged Barracks, not as much armor, not as much HP. It's 1 Rax between them and defeat right now. I mean, I guess the creeps aren't really... Oh, she just manually buys it, say, screw it, I'll get the Demon Edge for the MKB later. Right now, I want my rapier.
Buys the point
go for Scotty after that, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So, yeah, in this position, it really is Dusa against the world. She'll be empowered, she'll be buffed up by some auras, actually. Lil won't be providing any auras. Nice Blink, Hex, Meteor coming out from Pycat there.
Oh, boy, he just gets wrecked. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, though, Scandal and Illidan, they're on a mission. It's them versus the world. Oh, top lane. Let's see. Sing Sing going blow for blow against Go Black. He is the lone defender. They'll try to bring down the tier 2 tower in the mid lane, but Glyph is there. Meanwhile, Sing Sing just trying to backdoor the base. He's coming in. Will chop it with his chainsaw, forces some TP reactions, and VP.Polar once more stuck in their base. The really scary thing here is that it's the ranged Barracks. So any little bit of damage it's sure damage. There's no way to heal it up. So even Sing Sing just coming in and chopping it a little bit, that's significant.
Yeah, like they're picking up gems. They're getting things that should help them bring back control of the game, but all it is allowing them to maybe get some wards up to try to scout out when Team Tinker are going in. Because I think they're just going to go for a smoke play on that Rax pretty soon. Right now, Koiko has 2 javelins looking for his MKB, and that's kind of basically... I think there's a halberd on the field. Yeah, there's a halberd on Scandal, so it will pierce through that. As well, you're attacking very fast, so you're going to get a lot of mileage out of the mini bash procs. That's 100 mini bash damage, so it's really, really nice there. But yeah, in the end, it's just another item for Koiko to try to bring down this Rax. I think they go for a smoke play, and once those Rax are down, although Dusa can hold against Mega Creeps, it's going to just keep her in the base constantly.
Yeah, so there's that just casual Demon Edge on the courier flying out to Dusa. He'll make a space for it, and I guess I can turn into an MKB at some point, so not the worst thing in the world, but kind of funny. Maybe just the beginnings of a backup rapier in case that's somewhere he's going to have to go. Realistically, though, Blaze, what do you think in chance-wise that VP.Polar can actually turn this one around? Is the rapier, maybe even a double rapier, going to be enough to make this happen?
It all comes down to Koiko's movements, and I kind of saying Koiko I trust. As far as late game decision making, this guy is unparalleled. He's going to be able to make decisions that he needs to bring down racks, bring down towers, whatever. He can rat this one. Like, Dusa can handle the creep waves. Dusa can handle the team fights. Dusa can take on anything, but in the end, this is a lone druid against a rat or a throne. But we'll see DK Phobos be put on first.
Yeah, relocate. Go Black and Phobos will get taken out here. The puck will buy himself a little bit of time, but they actually get the kill on Ogre. Illidan, he's coming in, he's dropping the hammer, but now he gets isolated, taking a lot of damage. Rapier, will it hit the deck? Yes, it will. Who's picked it up, though? It's still on the ground. It's Sing Sing that grabs it. And now he's going to go in and just Tivin the chainsaw to Scandal, the buyback on Dusa. Triple kill for Sing Sing, and this may be the end for the Radiant side. All the buybacks being burned here. The Beastmaster as well as the Puck. They need to repel this, and they'll do everything they can to keep their range rack standing in the mid lane. But if they can't kill Sing Sing, that is at least the Rapier's on Timbersaw from the VP.Polar perspective. Probably one of the worst heroes to be carrying it on their side, as he doesn't really right-click all that much, but it's more the Dusa lacking the damage than anything else at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Just having it in your own hands. He's also one of the tankiest heroes, so he's not going to be feeding it away anytime soon.
True.
So if you have to have it on a hero that at the very least won't be giving it back to the Medusa, she's probably the best one, and that's better than keeping it in the fountain, generally speaking. And she goes Mask, of course! Sing Sing with the Mask of Madness Divine Rapier on his Timbersaw. He can't even chakra him because it makes it so that he can't attack, but this is Mouse Sports Sing Sing. Like, he did this on Queen of Pain, he's done this on so many different heroes. It's ultimate troll mode. He's probably demanding the Aegis as we speak. Like, this is absolutely hilarious.
Yep, and with the Aegis of the Immortal, that'll keep the Rapier pretty safe. Dusa, if Illidan wants to grab another Rapier, his buyback's on cooldown. He has 2,700 gold here, so not that far away from another Relic. I don't know if it'll be enough, but if they can manage to bring down Sing Sing and he gets the double Rapier, there's a small chance that he can turn. Some of that damage he was putting out in the last fight with just a single Rapier was almost enough, and he almost lived. It was a pretty close call in the end. But Roche goes down, Aegis goes the way of Sing Sing, and this is going to be now a chainsaw on steroids here, Blaze.
Yeah, he did just auto-attack down his Mask of Madness after he had to drop it for the Aegis there. So I think it was more of a flashy play here, but we'll see. They are feeling very confident right now, though. Prying the Rapier from the cold, dead fingers of Illidan Stormrage means he does not have the damage to high ground defend this easily. And as you mentioned, the racks, it only has 800 HP. That drops so quickly to any of these heroes.
Uh-oh, the Courier's flying out and
again
thinking about it. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, Phobos will get things started onto EGM. Go Black will connect with a swap. They'll bring down the Wisp right away. Stonegaze, Sing Sing gets petrified. Can they actually bring him down, though? There's not enough follow-up damage. Medusa laying in the right clicks. They might be able to burn the Aegis. No, Sing Sing just a bit too tanky. They'll lose their Vengeful Spirit, and now it's a 1-for-1 trade. Sing Sing lives to tell the tale with just a couple hundred hit points, and that's a Stonegaze on cooldown for 70 seconds. Illidan almost has enough for the second Rapier. There you go. He picks it up, but Puck on the high ground will get picked off. The Courier's going to have to take this weird path back to the base over the tree line, and I don't know if they'll be able to hold the ranged racks in that amount of time. There is a glyph available, so that'll buy them the valuable time they need. The EMP comes out. Dusa does dodge it. Now their barracks taking the heavy damage. Glyph will expire. The Rapier will get picked up here in just a matter of time. Sing Sing taking a lot of damage, just barely lives. Scandal gets turned around, but now Illidan. Rapier online. He's laying in the auto attacks. They've got the mega creeps, and they've gotten what they've come for. Now EGM, he's respawned. Dusa gets caught inside of the claws, but no, the swap from Go Black. It'll keep Illidan alive. Can he clean up this team to possibly make the turn? It's not looking so good here, Blaze. The Bear diving the well. He knows no fire bush. It's a dead Dusa. Rapier sitting in the well, and it just doesn't matter. The GG is called. VP.Polar, after a noble effort, they can't do it. And Team Tinker secure the win with their roided up Bear.
Jeez, the entangles, the bashes, just completely disarming the Medusa. She can't hold against it. If this game had taken maybe 5 or 10 more minutes, this would have been so much better for VP.Polar, and it would have gone extremely long time, to the point that you're looking at like refresher orbs on the Lone Druid and stuff like that. But at least as it stands, the double Courier pickoff prevents Illidan from getting his Divine Rapier right when he needs it, and Team Tinker, with some flashy plays, with some awesome strats, they bring this one home.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have another Team Tinker game coming up, folks. They'll be squaring off against M5 after this short break. I'm Sayori, that's Blaze. Make sure to give us make sure to give us both a follow on Twitter at Sayori TV, at BlazeCasting, and at Beyond the Summit to stay up to date with all things here for the Summit 2 by G2A.com. We'll be back. Next game starts in just 20 minutes' time.